It is a great privilege for me to welcome all of you to our program, celebrating the life of my Uncle Joe, the great Joseph Schwartz, as I called him, beloved pianist, teacher, husband, father, grandfather, colleague, and friend. It is just a little bit surreal standing on the Warner Concert Hall stage once again. One of my earliest memories of my uncle is me at 5 years old, sitting by the piano and listening to him play the Chopin Barcarolle, and the way he made my family's snappy upright piano fill the house with the most beautiful sounds. I would always request for him to play the Barcarolle or any Chopin piece. I started playing the piano when I was 5, and whenever I would see Aunt Flo and Uncle Joe, he would give me lessons, sometimes sitting at the piano with me for hours at a time. Throughout my life, I would joke with him about how much money I would have owed him for lessons. Trust me when I tell you that I could not have afforded it. But Uncle Joe gave of his time without hesitation. I would learn more than I can put into words with every lesson, years worth of technique, and being absolutely mesmerized by his exquisite tone and the power he had when he played. 3 years before I began my Oberlin journey, I came for a number of days with my mom to visit my aunt and uncle in Oberlin. I spent the week studying the Chopin Nocturne that I will play today with Uncle Joe, and it was during that summer that I decided that Oberlin was my dream school. Uncle Joe spent so many hours working with me every day in his studio. Then we'd have lunch at Java Zone, when it was still called Java Zone, and then we'd go right back to the piano. That week in Oberlin meant the absolute world to me and had a profound impact on my life. Joseph Schwartz was born in the Bronx and played his first solo recital at the age of 6, won his first concerto competition at 13, appearing with the KFI Hollywood Bowl Orchestra in LA. He began studying at Juilliard at 17 with Rosanna Levin and Erwin Freundlich. He played concerts all over the United States and the world in places such as London, Brussels, Hamburg, and Hong Kong, just to name a few, and was soloist with orchestras in New York, St. Louis, Los Angeles, and Pittsburgh. In 1958, Uncle Joe won the prestigious Walter W. Naumburg competition. In a review following one of his many New York recitals after winning the Naumburg, Harold C. Schoenberg of the New York Times wrote of his playing of a movement of Charles Ives's Concord Sonata, quote, "So far, no pianist with so great a natural ability as Mr. Schwartz has shown any interest in it. Hearing one movement yesterday, in so understanding a performance, whetted one's desire to hear Mr. Schwartz in the rest of the music, or in any music for that matter." 2 years later, Uncle Joe was recruited to teach here at the one and only Oberlin Conservatory of Music and spent 38 years as part of the faculty. He also served as chair of the department. He dedicated his life to his students and to his family, him and my aunt becoming such an integral part of the Oberlin community. In 1983, Joseph Schwartz created Oberlin's Summer Piano Institute and directed it for the next 10 years. And in 1987, Uncle Joe was named Oberlin's Wheeler Professor of Performance, which recognized his excellence at the height of his career. Joseph Schwartz was so very loved by his students and colleagues, many of whom are here today participating or are in the audience. The love for my uncle has become even more evident by the responses which Michael, Stephen, and I have received over the last few months by former students of his and by students who did not even study with him. So many commented not only about the incredible pianist and musician he was, but also about how kind and supportive. I'd like now to share just a few of these beautiful responses. Professor Schwartz heard my audition and was so warm and supportive. It's one of the reasons I chose Oberlin. Supportive faculty like him made my Oberlin years the best time of my young adulthood. Joe was such a profoundly influential and generous teacher to me, a treasure to the piano world. Joe was far more than a spectacular pianist. He He was incredibly kind, compassionate, and supportive, a true mensch. A kind, modest, and gracious man who lived the full life of a musician in love with his art. A wonderful example he always set and will remain. My uncle was one of the great pianists of the generation, and yet he was also one of the most humble people you could ever meet. He had no ego. Everything went into his music, into the keys. His influence over me and over so many goes far beyond what I would be able to express here today. I truly consider it one of the biggest blessings of my life that I had the great Joseph Schwartz as my uncle. He was so supportive of me and helped me in innumerable ways in becoming a pianist and musician. He taught me to look at the music in a much deeper way, to find connections within the score. He challenged me, and he did not let me get away with not counting and using way too much rubato. I will miss him always, and there will never be a time when I sit at the piano when he will not be with me. Thank you, Uncle Joe, from the bottom of my heart. I love you. I want to say a very special thank you to Alvin Chow, I'm not sure where he is, somewhere in the audience, yes, chair of the Oberlin Piano Department, who has gone above and beyond these last few months to help make today possible. Sometimes emailing with us at crazy late hours and donating so much of his time. We are forever grateful to you, and it has truly been wonderful to be back in touch again just a few short years after graduating and taking your piano literature class. It is also incredibly special to share the stage today with my Oberlin professor, Sanford Margolis, who was a very close friend of my uncle's. Thank you so much to the rest of the Oberlin piano faculty for being a part of today and for sharing your artistry with us. You meant so much to my uncle, as did the years he spent on the faculty with you. I want to also take a moment to acknowledge the presence of Motoko and Gordon L. Dean. The Hamburg piano that we will be playing today was their gift to the Conservatory in honor of Motoko's teacher, Joseph Schwartz. And thank you to all students who traveled from around the country to be here. It means a lot, and I'm sure would have meant so much to my uncle. As a testament to the love that his family and friends had for him, there are many, many family members and friends here today as well from throughout the country. It's so meaningful that you are here. A quick note about the program. Jeremy Dank will unfortunately not be able to join us. Our final two pieces in the program, it just says one, but there will actually be two pieces, will be audio recordings of my uncle playing in this very hall during two different recitals. The first will be the Chopin Fantasy Impromptu, as it does say in the program, which he played during a faculty solo recital on July 11th, 1995. And the second is the Chopin Impromptu No. 2 in F-sharp major from the dedication of this piano that we were playing today from Motoko and Gordon. And you will hear him speak for a minute before he begins playing. And finally, I would also like to express our appreciation to the Conservatory and faculty for sponsoring our program, for the use of beautiful Warner Concert Hall, and for the support provided by the Conservatory staff in ensuring that the program would run smoothly. Thank you to John Kavanaugh, Executive Director of Keyboard Technology, and to Robert Murphy, Associate Director of Piano Technology, for preparing this beautiful piano, for schlepping it from Klonick, for everything you do here. Thank you so very much. And lastly, I want to thank my cousins, Joseph Schwartz's sons, Michael and Stephen, for having the idea to do a concert in honor of their dad here in Oberlin with all of you. Following the concert, we hope you will join us for a reception in the lobby right outside of Warner, and we ask that you please silence all of your devices. We hope you enjoy the program. Thank you so much.